back to our channel, our shared space here on YouTube called Natural Connection with the Shaman. I'm your host, Shaman Odin Greywolf. Hello, Cheryl. And I'm here live with our co-host, Jamie Jette. And today we're going to talk about closing out the year of the snake, which was a 9 year. How you figure that out is you add up the numbers to the year. 2025, that's 225. So 2 plus 2 equals 4, 4 plus 5 equals 9. That's a 9 year. Now, in this new year coming up, it's going to be a 1 year because 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 6 is 10, 1 plus 0 equals 1. So it's a fresh start. So we're not just closing out a year here, we're closing out a 9 year cycle and beginning all over again. So I was looking a little bit at some of the dates coming up in this 2026 year, and I got to tell you, things are looking really good. So today we're just going to kind of talk about what we learned, how 2025 was, and go from there. So without further ado, go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah. Hi there. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. My sister-in-law is large into numerology as well, and so she said it was the 9 year, the year of closing, the year of the final. Um, I guess it's Pogorian, where there is mathematical, just like you share the mathematical system, the formula that it takes. It's a formula of nine. So no matter how you break it down, will always the numbers 1 through 9 will always equal that formula. And so I thought it was interesting. And at the beginning of the year, she said, "Oh yeah, next year is a 1 year." And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, whatever. And
Right.
then Katie and I had that. We started Stargate Sound Medicine the year for 2025, even though we've been going on since the year before that. In January, we opened up with shedding the skin because you know how she and I like to represent what is happening at the time. So at the beginning, there were 65 people where we took and put actually just put like glue on their palm, and so at the meditation, we actually had them feel the sensation of peeling that skin. Now, we don't, as human beings, we can do that etherically, we can do it mentally, but to actually physically feel, it was almost representative um, of embracing that new is available. So this whole year has been certainly a big year of of shedding the skin. And when you shed that skin, the new is going to be um, uncomfortable at first because
Yeah.
you're so used to that snagginess of the skin that you've been cozy with. But yeah, 9, I really look forward to it. It's really interesting because I've had a lot of younger women calling me and sharing their story. And then when I share it, well, that just makes perfect sense because the 9 is the closure. It is the closure of that 9 years that we have done. So I'm thinking back, where were we 9 years ago when we birthed? So it's something we can contemplate, after the podcast, but to really just be gentle with yourself and knowing it's almost like a gentle, okay, I've taken off this old coat, but it's almost like as if because the year of the horse does not come until February 4th. It just doesn't happen January 1st. You are in the year of the fire horse. That ain't how it happens. So it's kind of like a nice transition that we do here on the West Coast, as far as um, that releasing and moving into what is being birthed.
Yeah. That's and it does. I'm sorry, I was counting my fingers below the desk. When you said where were we 9 years ago, I started with my fingers. 2020 or 2016 is where we were. I
Ow!
remember. Yeah, I remember. As a matter of fact, I was working with a shaman back then in 2016, and he told me, he's like, he made it sound like he casted a spell, but he's like, you're gonna go through 9 years of sacred work before you're allowed, and it's coming through now. You're going to go through 9 years of sacred work before it erupts, and then when it erupts, you're going to have everything that you wanted. And I didn't you just brought that to my mind just by saying, where were we 9 years ago? And so now the year's coming up, and wow, okay. And when I was looking at the astrology, it's all lining up too. Like, there's some good things. There's going to be some pretty heavy energy around June. There's huge stellium, but nothing really terrible. But wow, where were you in 2016?
I was starting in real estate. And I remember it was a new birth. And I remember I cried every single day that first day when I joined Bob on his real estate team because there was so much information. I was so set at my other job. I knew it inside and out. And I mean, I really rocked it. But then to be going into something new, I was just like, oh my gosh, it was a lot. So 2016, yeah, there was a lot of emotion. And doesn't that happen when there's a new birth? There's something, it's kind of hard to break through. And then, I know this sounds corny, but when we women have a birth, we break our water. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of emotion, a lot of pain. So that's what happened to me in 2016. I was going to school in life. I was learning, and then finally I learned how to pray a lot better, where I was very firm about my declaration. I didn't do beseeching, I declared. And I'm like, I am a beloved of this universe. Y'all need to slow down that fire hose, man, because
yeah,
this one I can only drink out of a water hose. And it was like that first year, boom. After that, after 2017, it was much, much better.
yeah, yeah. 2016 was kind of rough for me too. And Cheryl put, I just realized Jim died in a 1 year. Makes total sense to see the circle closed. So yeah, that would be 2016 would be a 1 year. So it does seem like, I remember there was a lot going. That's why I was working with the shaman. I didn't, before that, I didn't care to work with the shaman. I thought I knew everything. But- and even working with him, I still thought I knew everything. And we would go back and forth and back and forth. And then at the end of a year working with him, I'm like, oh, I see. I get it. I get it now. But yeah, it was pretty rough. What about
Yeah.
this year? This year a lot of good came. There was and it wasn't easy good, but good came. It seemed like struggle, and then boom, as soon as it popped, you got something really good. 2016 was a 9 year. That's when his leukemia came back. 2006, oh, okay. He died in 2017, which is when my new start began. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
does.
when we reflect on that, we can stop and look back and say, wow, it's been a journey of 9 years. But this year, I agree with you. There's been so much at warp speed that it's good.
Yeah,
I think we're older. I think it's good that we're getting a lot more information, whether you like it or not.
yeah,
We, I know I was telling you a little earlier, and I was telling my group yesterday at Life Reflection that we are almost stepping into this new mega human. Do I know what that looks like? Hell no.
Yeah.
Excited? Yeah, because it's 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 so much fun as I get older of right where I am, just practicing that. So I know I'm just going to say yes to everything that unfolds. And there's been already some pain the last few days. It's been very painful. I mean, um, I've been working on a friend who I don't want to lose, but somehow the wires got miscommunicated. So that might be happening. With my family, I've been kind of identifying that, you know what? It's okay that you don't know me. It's okay that you don't see me because there's other people that see me. So see, I'm getting emotional again.
Yeah.
There's of a lot of time. So I wrote in my journal yesterday. I need to make more time for meditation. I need to sit and just um, connect with the birds, connect with the cold wind on my face. I just need to connect and put that self-doubt. I put that in the burning bowl, by the way, on
Self-doubt.
Sunday. Yes, and where does that come from? And so there were several of us that shared the self-doubt. Somebody had shared they released shame and guilt. Mine wasn't. There were several of us that it wasn't shame or guilt. It was feeling the pain back down when at first the cause came, as a child. And we did the best we could, but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to 2026 because John, I'm telling you, it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. And I don't know I said that at my 40s, and then I said that at my 50s, and then I said at my 60s. So anybody who joins the Sexy 60 Club, I tell them, I'm telling you, it just gets better and better. So,
Yeah.
and how is that possible? How is that possible?
It's all in how we do things. It could be doom and gloom every year if you want to be there, but it's just in your vision, in your own outlook on life. Your perspective creates your reality. Heaven and hell, they're not places to go when we die. They're states of mind and emotional being right here, right now. When you die, all the fantasy stories about heaven and hell are to keep you kind of walking a line here. You're either going to be a hell's rebel or you're going to be walking a good line, like the good red road or the bad road. Whichever you choose is the life you live. But after that, it's a clean slate. It's funny. You only get that if you've had an NDE or if you know somebody has passed. You understand that heaven and hell is your state of mind. So you just keep focusing on the good. The more we focus on the good, the more good comes. And of course, there's going to be little weeds that sprout in the garden every now and then. Like somebody will come up, you'll be in the greatest mood of your life, and they'll be like, "What are you so happy about?" You can right there and then you could take that as that could be a hindrance, or that could be the time to say, well, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for everybody we got. Hello, George. And Cheryl said, absolutely. We were just talking about looking back on cycles and understanding them. Yeah, cycles. That was cycles. Sorry, got punned right there. Anyways, so when you were talking about self-doubt, there was one thing that come to mind. I was talking with my therapist yesterday about self-doubt. And he goes, well, what do you feel is self-doubt in your eyes? I go, well, it's like this. When I was a plumber, I was a very educated, very experienced plumber, but I didn't get my license till really late. So even though I was running work and doing a great job, and I said I didn't really feel worth the money I was making, it was always an insecurity. So when I finally went and got my license that year, I went from 25 an hour to 35 an hour. And then at the end of that year, I went to making 78 an hour. So sometimes self-doubt could be a little piece of paper and solve that problem just like that, because it wasn't any difference in my wisdom or experience. It was just that little card I got to put in my pocket and say, I'm licensed at this, you know? So I know you've got that human design going on. So I'm pretty sure a lot of things are going. I'm planning on going to school this year. I'm planning on trying it out as soon as we're out of the holidays. And everyone I know, Cheryl's doing some classes too. So I think self doubt is like the butterflies in everybody. You know, we get butterflies until we find something that actually gives us that card. And that little card, even though it's nothing, was the key to your own fulfillment.
I think some of it too. I was talking about this with Bob last night that I really believe it's just about a couple of things are in play here, and it's acceptance, because I'm not going to be able, I don't care how many plates I can juggle in the air. I don't care how many certificates I've got on the wall. I don't care how many licenses I have. I am unable, let me repeat, I am unable to make someone um, um, feel something different, because feelings are real, and that it is theirs. So the fact at nonviolent communication, Bob and I have these little cards. I think I've talked about them before. On one side, it's when you react, it's about you. And when I hold it up and I'm reacting to somebody else's actions, it's about me.
Yeah.
So I am responding to someone's lack of responses, if you will, not in my Jamie land, how I would like to be the perfect daughter, that walks on water, but looking at it and saying, what is it? Why do I think my self worth comes from the opinion or the acceptance of someone else? So
Right.
then I had to go dive in a little deeper and say, well, homie, this is on you. You're going to have to learn. This is self love. This is where I now am learning to love myself. And I can build my own self worth. I don't need them, even though for 60 something years I've been saying, well, that's my conditioning. I thought, um, good girls don't cry, or good girls do this and good girls do that. And I'm like, I'm a human being. I'm an adorable human being that I know the cosmos, I know the universe, I know the birds and the bees take note. And I know Cheryl knows this too. And when we go into nature,
Okay.
we connect, and all of a sudden the self doubt goes, and I am worthy, and I am part of this orchestra. So I'm working, and it's going to be a little while, maybe in this coming 1 year, that I will birth this new uh, stronger, confident, um, confident person, that I'm like, you know what? I had a really great time with you all these years, but whether you like me or not, those are your feelings, and
Yes.
I'm responsible for me. So I'm not going to try to juggle 12 plates in the air anymore. I'm not, I mean, all my little certificates, because becoming a practitioner, it's about 5 years and a lot of study. They're in a drawer.
Yeah.
They're not important to me. My connection with friends, community, um, um, my dog, my tribe, that those are becoming so important in my heart and my gift. So it's kind of like it's almost like a metamorphosis, like you said, a butterfly. So maybe there's a lot of us on this 9th year, and I invite anybody that's watching, or even maybe later on watching, that if somehow, even at the vital last week of this 9, there's and share with us. Be comfortable. We are inclusive here. We don't judge. We just share safely. So it would be interesting. So then maybe we can have a conversation or say, you know what, we're going to sit in the silence with you. Because guess what? I'm right this last week. I have been in that ooey gooey muck of the darkness in the 9th cycle, knowing that somewhere down the line, this this free this free being is going to be able to fly. I say the word soar in my journal.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, and it's like closing it out, if there's anything still left hanging. And this year was kind of about shedding those skins of how do people view me? And you had to get comfortable with the who cares? I'm me. And, I used to have a problem with wondering if people thought that self-care was vain or arrogant, and I was like, wait a minute. This year I started to realize, I'm like, wait a minute. How is that a negative thing for me to take care of self? If I don't take care of self, I lash out on others, and that's what really, I don't need that. So it was a lot of inner work. It was funny because this year everything started to come through for me. I spent 3 years before this year roommating places, going from place to place, and every time I got comfortable, something happened, had to move on, right? And what I did is for 3 years, when I lost my place, I started journaling. I stopped looking at astrology ahead of time, and I started to do only the present moment astrology to try to keep myself in the present moment, not looking for the future, not doing anything. And this year, it started off great. Started a relationship. I've been in a relationship for a whole year, where before that, it was like, I made fun of, I used to joke about it. It was like being Goldilocks. Oh, this one's not too, I know that's terrible. This
No,
bed
no,
feels,
trust yourself. That is being authentic. And that's what that even vibrates more than love is authenticity. So I invite you. No, it doesn't sound, it sounds wonderful. And yeah, because we can all relate to it.
yeah, right. And it was really, it was really a chore to even, I got to the point where I thought, oh, relationships, nah, I'm good, forget it. And then, they started coming around, and finally, so we've been in one for a whole year. Throughout this year, I got myself a place after living in rooms for 3 years, which getting this place I didn't think was gonna happen. I was getting really, whoa, I was getting really down on myself because everywhere I went, oh yeah, you went out. Can you hear me? Let's see. Can you hear me? Yes or no? No? Okay, try to go out and come back in.
Okay.
Oh, you're
Okay.
back. You're back. No, 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 no. Say something.
I'm here.
Oh,
Oh,
there you go.
is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, for some reason, I can't hear you. Let me check. Oh, maybe that's why. It
All
just
right.
did it automatic.
Can you hear me now? Okay, cool.
Let me tell you, it's been like that all week.
Yeah. And Mercury's not even retrograde yet. Yeah, so this year has been about uncomfortabilities, and remember there was a lot of fights and hostility out there this year, but it come down to keeping ourselves in that present moment and being grateful for that moment. Yeah, you do have to pick yourself, George says. What did she say? I was called selfish by my family because I put myself first. They don't, yeah, nobody understood. Nobody, and that was because of I lived a life of as a nurturer. Like, cancer naturally we're nurtured. And when I started to go, you know what? Nurturing got me homeless, no money, getting rid of all my stuff. And no, it's about me now. And I had to do that. But it started by also not trying to look ahead so much. And for
Mm.
3 years, just being in the present moment, I think that's what did the trick. Got me out
Yeah.
of before that. I used to think about what's my 5-year plan, what's my 10-year plan. And
Yes, and that was not living in the moment. I just learned a new um, thing on Mondays. It's a different technique of breathing. And so sometimes when we sit in the silence, because literally this little group in a circle, we just sit in the silence and we know the energy, we can feel that love energy. It's so beautiful. Well, I'm like, my gosh, my monkey mind goes, blah, 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 blah. It just is nonstop. So I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to bring myself present? Now we can, and this gentleman taught us a way to do it. So I'll tell you about it. But sometimes when you wash dishes, you're focusing on being present. When you journal, you're focusing on being present. Yeah, I know sometimes in the shower we can still go that monkey mind. But anyway, just taking in the breath and sitting in the silence. Close your eyes, John, and just give it a try and look at your third eye, everyone. And you just, when you breathe in and you breathe out, and then when you, on the intake, you say the word hum, and out is sa, hum, sa. So all of a sudden, it brings you to a softening and it gives your mind something to do that's connecting presently with your breath. I I just love that. So thank you for letting me share that.
of course, you know what I saw when I closed my eyes? It was like a squid man. It was like a man, like a kind of like a cartoon man looking face, right? But he had squid legs and tentacles. And when I started saying Hamsa, he disappeared and I saw a middle finger come up.
Well, I don't
But
think
yeah,
all of us are going to experience that, but at least it's a nice way for us to at least get started and feeling safe, even if it's 2 minutes,
yeah,
5 minutes, just each day, even twice a day. And that um, I'm telling myself quiets the mind to be or learn to be present because we have been conditioned do.
right. Well,
We
another thing that keeps you right here in the moment. I used to do with my like tiger's eye, or I had blue calcite. But you just take a orb. And it's funny you say about the monkey mind, because what happens is most people think when you meditate, you're supposed to get rid of that monkey mind. That's not the trick at all. If you have, like, doing this is kind of like washing dishes, it takes all that brain chatter out. So you're just sitting there. And the trick is to allow the monkey mind to be a monkey mind and let it go. And as it's going, like, okay, are you going to sit here all day? How about we make a peanut butter and jelly salad? Do you want something to eat? You're just sitting there. So you become a different person. You become the one, the observer, listening to the mental chatter and not attaching yourself to it. And then as you're doing that, you're just letting it flow. The monkey mind gets tired. and the monkey mind stops. And then as soon as it stops long enough and it realizes that it stops, it starts again. But the trick is to just let it. Just let it be a monkey mind. Because that's what I've noticed a lot of people try not to meditate because they're like, it's impossible to stop the monkey mind. You're not supposed to stop it. It's a part of you. We need that intellect to live. That intellect helps us do anything in our life. It helps us arrange our clothes, decorate our homes, read, study. So the trick is just sit with it. Let it be monkeys.
Yeah, or
Squirrels.
squirrel. You're right, George, because we always say squirrel.
Yep,
And
that is.
my husband is OPT, and he's like, it's like, oh, pretty thing.
Ah,
He
that's a
sees,
good one.
oh, pretty thing.
Bob's a killer with those quick puns. He's got it, man. Every time. What did he say when we were talking? He did switch.
He said, what?
Well, we were all at the jacuzzi talking, and he's like, switch.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's because when we all get together, the tribe, we have so much energy going on in our brains. And I'm thinking it does come from the galactic remembering why we're here. And all of a sudden, but it's like, oh my God. And it's almost like it collectively, we just go, oh no, let's go into first gear. No, let's go into fourth gear. Let's go into third. Let's go into second. And that is why Bob's just like, shift,
Yes,
shift,
shift.
shift.
That's what it was. It was shift. 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 We were doing shift work.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Did you pull any cards today for this? What is it? 12, 30, 2025.
Not yet. And I kind of woke up late. I didn't want to get out of bed. It's been so comfortable lately. And especially with the cold. Once it gets cold, I just forget it. I want to stay in that bed, covered up, comfy. But I'm kind of interested. I've been having a lot of fun with these What's Gossip card. Yeah,
Oh,
What's Gossip. These are pretty fun. They seem like when I ordered them, I'm like, oh, this will be fun. These are probably hilarious, but they're actually pretty good. So let's see what we got here. Come on. Come on. How do you how do you make this up? Brand new.
oh,
Brand new. So
wait,
fresh
that
beginnings.
we're tapping in. We're so tapping in because we are water. We are antennas. We can receive, and and I'm. Oh, this is so good. This is so good for all of your viewers. Just, they're jumping out. Excuse me, wanting to share information. Brand
Yeah.
new. What do they say?
I know it's like, sometimes you got to look at it, and if that's not proof of magic, I don't know what is. They just come. I have a lot of fun with tarot. I use them to channel different dimensions, different energies, different species. It's really just, yeah, right on. So it says fresh beginnings, reinventing yourself, new ventures, and watch me shine. So, for everybody, if you had any doubts about stepping into this new year, this card right here is telling you put those doubts right on out the window. You are going to shine this year. Bottom of the deck says trust the signs,
Oh,
follow guidance.
it's
I'm
on.
really excited for this year.
Signs could be music. The signs could be cards. The signs could be license plates. The signs could be the clouds. There's so many. The universe, I'm telling you, the universe is so excited about this mega human that has been practically birthing in the womb for 9 years. So
Right.
that, I mean, like Cheryl said, and George, yeah, you can't make it up. You can't, because guess what? We are, Abraham Hicks said this years ago. Once you tune in, meaning your dial, you tap in and you get turned on. I am telling you, just like magnets, it's hilarious because it's that simple. That
Right?
simple.
It is really. I remember. I think it was you when we first started talking at Monday Mandalas, asking, "How do you do this?" And I said, "I just had to get out of my own way." Like I remember back when I wanted to control the energy and like blah, but all I was doing was blocking it. And I just finally said, forget it. You do what you do. I'm stepping out of the way and it flows through. And once you're in that current, it's just magic all around. Now, our next cards were payback. And at first I was thinking, that's kind of seems kind of negative, right? Consequences returning, karma cycle, what goes around, time to settle accounts. But guess what's on the bottom of the deck? Payday.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
expect payouts this year, people. Financial rewards, money rolling in, celebration of success. Your checks are cashed. That
Yeah.
sounds like
Wow.
some. I'm ready for this year.
Yeah. I like it now when bills come. Somebody taught me this years ago at one of the centers on Harmon that yeah, you every time your bills come in, you say thank you. I'm like, are you crazy? That sounds so ridiculous. But I thought, what have I got to lose?
Yeah,
I was divorced. My boys were off on their own. And I thought, well, I think I'm gonna give it a go. Well, their thing was every time you said thank you, somehow the unseen, the invisible support that really has our back starts hearing you. And you say, thank you for my water bill. Because let me tell you, 100 years, 150 years ago, do you know kings and queens didn't even have flushing toilets like we have right now?
yeah.
They didn't have a shower. I mean, don't, they used the bath water over and over again. So when you get your water bill, thank you. I am so grateful that I have water. Or you have a trash bill. Thank God somebody is able to come and pick up my trash or my rent. Thank you so much for something that's safe, affordable, and comfortable. And really, maybe I didn't know about magic then, but now that you're saying talking about magic, it had to have been magic. It was majestic
Yeah.
to to state it out loud because we know when you speak the word, especially when there's more than one of us, it I don't know how it works, but it just works, and I'm not gonna sit there and try to dissect it. I'm just gonna use it like like a free-flowing river.
That's what getting out of your way is, not trying to dissect it anymore. Everybody wants the answers, and then you're doing perfect. Shift.
Shifts. Right on, George. It's a
Okay.
sh
Yeah. Speaking of shifts, so lately, this last week, there's been a few people I've heard talking about shifts in energy. In person, my ex's boyfriend was talking about he felt like he had a shift in the timeline, and he's not really into all this. So it was really kind of good to hear that from him. Cheryl was talking about a shift. I knew some timeline had shifted. And for me, it always is like, I feel like I'm not really from this dimension because of the little differences, like solstice not being on the 22nd, like beautiful not being spelled the way it's spelled when that I remember. And I could call it off on ignorance if it wasn't so deeply ingrained the way that I spell things or the way. But this year, just this past week, I felt a lot of shifts. Have you felt any kind of shifts in reality?
yeah, yeah, and I have to keep reminding myself, I signed up to be in this third dimension.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about that, what you had just said, and I just lost it, but, um oh, where did it go? Well, it might come back to me, I don't know. All I know is that when oh, um, I talked about this before. The fact that you were thinking that it was ignorant, I'm telling you, John, there's something about that guy, Richard Rudd, who wrote the Gene Keys. And
Yeah.
with this human design, they're learning a lot more about our DNA. I am telling you, as sure as I am sitting right here, and I'm confident that somehow, and I don't know how that happened consciously, all of our lifetime are brought up into this point. That's why you remember how to spell beautiful the way you do. That
Yeah.
is why we are doing certain things, because those of us who can are out of our way when we are out of our way can kind of dimensional travel, and we don't mean to do it. It just happens. So
Yeah.
the the third dimension that we are, and yet our soul and our consciousness is in the fourth and the fifth. And I have friends who are in the 12th, man. But I'm telling you, I'm so convinced that somewhere in our reincarnation and our DNA, when we enter that womb, is part somehow it's come all the way back. I'm not going to be able to tell you how in this lifetime,
No.
but I'm going to be able one day, many lifetimes from now, I know there's a lot of us that are going to say, oh my God, it was right there in front of our face.
Right. It is. It's like that. It's like even sometimes when you go back in time in meditation, you're like you can, depending on how you astral travel, you can go back to specific points in life where you may have been completely focused on this one conversation, right? And when you go back in meditation, you can see what's sitting on the outside of that conversation where all you had was tunnel vision right here. Then you could pick it up. It's always like that. It's like, oh my God, it was right there in front of me the whole time. All I had
Yeah.
to do was look to the side and quit arguing in this direction.
Something happened very interesting for me yesterday. Like I said, this last 4 days has been very emotional because the super moon, I believe, coming up really raises the tides. It does something to us. Um, but this woman had lost her keys, and there was a whole bunch of group of us. Oh, well, reach out to St. Anthony, who I'm really tight with. If there are things lost, St. Anthony never lets me down.
Yeah.
There are people that said, do this, do that. One said, grab a pendulum, go back and retrace. And I have no idea. And I am still questioning it today. Why I said, I want you to sit quietly,
Hmm.
because she was all in an uproar for hours. So, you can't connect when you are in an uproar. I said, you need to sit quietly. Just try this. And I wrote it, become the keys. I
Yeah.
said, repeated it. I said, become the keys. And I'm thinking, literally for about 12 hours now, I'm thinking, why did I say that? Where did it come from? So something in my conscious mind or the invisible is saying, if this person slows down enough, and they will, and you can do remote viewing. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
want to go very far, but because that's like teaching a kindergarten, about quantum physics. There are some that might be able to do it, but they can't. Anyway,
Thank
just
you.
sitting there, it came off like I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Sit down and become the keys.
Yeah.
Become the keys. And I knew that's how she would find them. Well, she didn't find them. No, she found them, but it was a different way. But I thought, I'm questioning myself. What dimension are we stepping into? So that was a shift for me yesterday that I was observing.
That internal knowing, right?
Ah, yeah.
It's like those moments your higher self steps into you and it lets you know like, hey, we know this. And you may not know like from this dimension, but you just have this innate knowing. I remember I used to be in a lot of Facebook groups about like witches and magic and this and that. And I remember they'd ask me, "Can you help me find my keys?" I'm like, "No, I'm not wasting my magic on that. Go sit down." Just like you said, go sit down and retrace your steps or just forget about it and it'll
It's
come
almost
to you.
play a movie and you can do it. So good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, because back then it was just everybody on Facebook was like trying to show off their magic, where I was more, no, my magic's for my life, and for those that I love. But I do remember stuff like that. And on our
Yeah.
YouTube groups, they're like, "Hey, can you find my purse?" No, don't think so. You can.
By Bob, he's only second level Reiki, and he
Well, there's
said,
only three.
"Oh, well, he tapped out. Bob has that instant connection. I don't know how he does it. He just does it." But he said what made me step out of the title of Reiki master was when people were starting to do Reiki in their gas tanks that were empty. Or they would sit down and he goes, I call those drive-bys. Those aren't, those are not actually what we are capable as human beings able to do. But that's when he tapped out. He said, nope, I'm
Yeah,
out. That's just too far. So these people, they're saying, well, you're the magician. Find my keys for me.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Well,
yeah. Because it becomes it becomes like a crutch. So same thing when I had my Reiki studio, people would come in and they're coming in every week, and I'm like, you don't want a healer, you want a crutch. You want somebody to pacify you. So here, let me tell you this. We'll do the Reiki session today, but you've got to change your patterns. And it was when I started doing this, I started offering a little bit of counsel with my Reiki sessions. I charged a little bit more, but they got the Reiki session, and then we got like an hour to sit and talk and counseling what was going on. And you have to tell, because people don't understand. It's like the baby magicians and their manifestation, but they're terrified of anything negative, right? Well, you got to go into that negative. You've got to fix your programs. You've got to get into that ugly, murky stuff and stop being. So that's I don't blame him for that. I stepped out of Reiki too, because a lot of people just use it as a crutch. And then, of course, a lot of people use it as a flirtation device. Like, oh, I could. I could
that's
touch you
like
up.
voice of experience, John.
What?
That was like the voice of experience right there.
Oh yeah, it was. Calling out myself when I laughed at that one.
Oh, that's so funny. That is funny. God. So what are your plans for the New Year's? Are you going to bring it in quietly, softly?
Um,
Um,
we're going to the drum circle on, I think, the ledge or the cave or something,
yeah.
and then we've got the New Year's Day with Katie. So that's what we have planned, unless it rains, and we're hoping it doesn't rain on New Year's Eve tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow. Because if it does, then we will just the ledge. Then okay, thank you, George. If it does rain, then we will just bring it in quietly.
Yeah, yeah. So you think that happened to me in 2013. I was living alone and I was at the condo and I was like, I am exhausted. I don't need to watch it. I'm just gonna go to sleep. And oh no, 2013 said, sister. And I heard it woke me up right at midnight and I looked out the bathroom window and I could see the strip. I didn't ever even know that because the sound was so loud. That was the year that was the year that I met Bob. Was that crazy? Was it it's September of that year? Yeah, there was a lot that happened in 2013. So I chuckle when people say, "Oh, I'm just going to go to sleep and I'm just going to bring it in quietly." Okay, let us know how it works in the morning.
I remember one year, I don't remember what year. It might have been 2021 or it might have been 2020. But I the first time I spent New Year's just at home sleeping, it felt so good to not have any plans, to not have any parties to attend. And that was the best New Year I ever had, to be honest with you, because I just sat there in the comfort, quiet. I turned off all. I'm really big on a dark house too. That's how I find comfort. Turned off all the lights in the house, and I just sat there, started some meditation. The first time my kids were all out at a party, nobody was at my home, and I just sat there and soaked it up, man. I was like, it's not
I
bad to do sometimes.
and it seems like a really a nice way to reflect. I know we're getting ready to close. I just wanted to remind everybody that even though we have been shedding our skin this entire year, um, uh, just look at your neighbor because they have been shedding their skin as well. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of adjustments in the jungle, if you will, with this shedding and this new growth of each one of us in the jungle. And don't worry. I mean, if stuff still happens for the next month until February 4th, just really, really realize, reach out to John, reach out to me. We will reassure you that it's the end of the shedding of the snake. It's the end of the year of the snake because the fire horse does not come prancing in until February the 4th. And so, are we going to learn? Now is the time, maybe, to select mentally how am I going to navigate the reins of this fire horse? Because don't think you're just going to sit little gallop. Fire horse is mighty and strong. And so it is our stewardship as our own masters in this time zone is to learn how to drive and direct the reins.
yeah, chariot energy. That's like the chariot card energy. Go out, make sure you are a force to be reckoned with. And you can't become a force to be reckoned with the little prancer. You gotta know how to whip them reins.
You know,
That's like
it's instead of gripping onto stuff, grip on to your own life, your own direction, your own new birth, your new unfoldment of, man, we've been through MF mud, man.
right.
And so it's time to just say, and I'm going to ride it. I'm going to ride it as gallantly and with command.
That's
Yeah.
right. As soon as New Year's comes in, here's some things you can expect. You can expect public success through avenues of teaching, publishing. So, those of you who are writing books, you could possibly publish one this year, or your spiritual beliefs could make more sense to you. This is all based off the astrology by blending your beliefs with your personal ambitions. Like blending your beliefs with real life. So, like we were talking about, you said peeling the skin, the glue off of the skin, right? So, I was going to tell you back then, that's like an alchemical process. Alchemy, with all the science, the distillation, the melting metals, the breaking crystals down into dust and grinding particles, that is their physical work to the spiritual development. So, expect things to start making sense with that and a lot of success. And there's going to be fated fortunes that come with new changes. So don't be afraid of change. Helpful people will be stepping into your life. You might
Yes.
have unexpected challenges, but these will lead to breakthroughs in your career or financial situations. And there's a lot of opportunity for deep inner growth by clarifying misunderstandings both that you have of others and that they have of you. Remember, if there's a misunderstanding, both parties are not catching the right frequency. So clarity's coming in, and focus more on your internal wisdom for your compass here. All of that was, those are just some quick short messages I pulled off of New Year's Day.
Perfect.
Yeah. Gallop. That's right. Gallop. So, another thing about shedding the skin this year, I didn't ever really think I would have to work with the Goetia again. Know it all. You think you know everything. But they called me, and I was talking with my therapist yesterday about this. As I worked with the Goetia and started healing, I started noticing people in my life, their mentalities changing, their behaviors changing, their attitudes changing, more peaceful resolutions out there where before I started working with them, it was like chaos, hornet's nest. How many times did we say hornet's nest this year? Remember, it's like, oh, don't go on Facebook. There's hornet's nest going on. And it seemed like I told my therapist, I said, I don't want to sound vain about this. I go, but it feels like the more that I heal myself, the world around me heals. He's like, why would you think? He said, that's your self doubt. Why would you think that that's vain? And so it's really, I have a good therapist, one that is into the metaphysical. So I started to realize that that was one thing that I had to shed the skin of. And it was taking on energy in other forms because what was going on inside the mind was creating that projection in our circles. So that, yeah, no, okay, well, thank you. I know I always thought it was vain because I'm like, all right, how is this me doing the work is changing these people in my reality? But I got to tell you, it really worked.
Yeah.
It really,
Yeah. That's why they're talking. There's a lot of these people, especially this one gal in the UK, where they consciously think of just pure love. And it's Bob calls it the butterfly effect. I know that's old, but it's really that simple. It's not about our conditioning. It's about how and what we're feeling in this frequency antenna and generating out, broadcasting out, broadcasting out love and peace and just um just a sweetness of almost like a sweetness like honey nectar is just, and yet it's so fragile, and yet we are that powerful, that
yeah,
powerful. And you could call it magic, you could call it majestic, people call it miracles.
yeah,
I like to make fun. But it really, you don't need to label it. It's just, it's a state of being. It's a state of being. You don't have to get a certificate. You don't have to juggle 12 plates in the air. You can just softly, with your mind and your consciousness, even like John says, in the dark, wherever,
yeah.
and knowing that somehow this amazing computer is able to generate powerfully. And I know we've all expected it. You think of a friend and the phone rings. John, you
Yeah.
thought of something, you thought it was vain, but it wasn't. And you're just like, wow, the more good things I thought, the more it softly um, happened. So that, I don't know if it's, I don't think we need a magic wand, but I
No.
just think that thoughts, words, and feelings, it's got to come from here in the gut. It's almost like a try person, mind, heart, and the gut, which is one of the biggest indicators that we're on the right track.
Well, it's funny you say about a try thing, right? So it is mind, heart, and gut, right? But also in the mind, I just sent Cheryl a video about this last night. It's the pituitary, the pineal, and the hypothalamus gland in the mind. Once you can get those three working together, and you have a chance every month. This is not no woo woo. I'll tell you guys about this before we go. Every month, the moon will enter your birth sign. Okay, that time when it enters your birth sign, you have 2 to 3 days. It will be in your birth sign. This is your time to be either fasting, drinking. Fasting doesn't have to be starve yourself. You could eat leafy vegetables and you can drink fluids, you can drink protein shakes. Just don't eat like these heavy salt, heavy meats, heavy carbs. Cut that out. No sexual activity on those 2 to 3 days. And what happens is your pineal gland, your pituitary gland, and your hypothalamus, conscious, unconscious, subconscious, they start working together and they leak the DMT drip, which is called the Christos. It wasn't Jesus Christ, it was Jesus of the Christos, because
Yeah.
it aligned his three parts of his mind together.
Yeah.
And you have this opportunity every month. So I know I say this a lot to a lot of my friends. Learn the moon. Learn the moon. From new moon to new moon, every 2 days is a lunar transition. You can study the moon, but I have one on AstroSeek. Moon phase calendar, astroseek.com. It'll give you like a whole 2 weeks of the moon phases, where they're going to be. You can look those up however you want. Google is your friend, Safari is your friend. Type in what does the moon here placed mean, blah, blah, blah. It'll always give you the answers you need. And it's the key to every secret out there. So, those of you that are really big on like detective work or research or truth seeking, if you dial into the moon, you can get more in tune with your three parts of your brain. The more in tune you get with those, the more magic in this world happens.
Cute. Hey, Cheryl, thank you. I gotta, maybe you can send us a picture of that on your refrigerator.
Yeah,
And
I like that, what she said.
thanks.
Well, so do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
No, I just wish everybody, well, I'm not going to wish it. I'm just going to know um, really good health, wealth, and wisdom for each and every single person that is hearing you, listening, and those who don't. Yeah, because if they're tapped into the health and the wealth and the wisdom, guess what? I'm on the ride too.
Right, that's right. Yeah, as a collective, we all move as like one big Voltron. I think it was Voltron. We move as one big collective unit. So the more you do good for yourself, the more you're doing good for your collective, your family, your friends, your circle, your tribe, your spiritual tribe, and all those invisible tribes that are with you all the time.
Yeah.
So,
So thank you. It's been a great year, and yeah, let's see what unfolds slowly. Because I've already been talking to my guides with ease and grace.
yeah,
I don't need to hold on to those reins just yet.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
command your presence. Like I said, this year was me working on staying in the present moment, because there is a lot that tries to pull you in the future or pull you in the past. It's actually a challenge to stay right here. But if you can do that, you got good things coming up. All right, everybody. Well, we will see you next year, except for all of those in our close circle. We will see you soon. And thank you. This chat went like, it seemed like it flew right by. Nice
Yeah.
topic.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone. Joined
Thank you
us.
for tuning in. And for those watching later, and for those watching now, check out my website, www.shamangraywolf.com. Check out unitingwellness.com, Stargate Medicine on Facebook, and thenaturalcloset.com. Cheryl has all kinds of amazing holistic. She's got a whole store, everything from sage to crystals. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, she's got great stuff. Remember, I told her told you she only uses artisan. I wanted to mention StargateMedicine.com. We worked last August, Katie and I, on our calendar, so it's already there. January 11th, we're going to be doing a Sunday. February 14th, the Love Starts Within. We're doing a retreat here at Shangri-La, one night. So it's not for couples. You can just come single, but it's going to be a grand event. So I just wanted to say that check out our website, because now everybody's marking their calendars, but we're doing it on a Sunday this time, January 111. So anybody who hasn't had a chance, maybe I'll type in the website. And Uniting Wellness, oh Lordy B, a lot of big changes there too.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? They've also got a lot of good products. You'll have to go and check out their site. That way we just keep that in your own research. And thank you guys for your time. And we will see you next year.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Safe holidays.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Don't drive drunk. Be safe. Don't shoot guns in the air. Those bullets come back down. Be mindful. Let's bring this year in with a good note. Thank you for tuning in, George, Cheryl, Corey, Holy Moly, and who
A
else?
lot more. I can see a lot more. I just don't see their name. A lot
Yeah.
of people, but thank you.
Thank you all for listening in your ear pods, and we'll see you next time. Here. See you later, Jamie. Bye bye. And